Hey, Susie. How are we looking? I think I've figured out what's causing that rumbling. Now I just need to figure out how to stop it. Hopefully my controller will make sense. Is it? Is my controller going to work? It seems like it is not. That's disappointing. Is this going to be the final? I don't know. Do you know? Oh, right. Oh, okay, so, how far ahead are blue? Let me just, swap that over so we can have a look at the desktop. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 for blue. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for green. So how far? Blue is ahead by 5 tiles. So what? If blue gets another tile, do they win? Okay, so it's looking like a blue victory, because the Royal Knights are only 1 victory point away from taking it. They've taken another territory, so they basically need to lose too. Red is going to have to do insane to do that. I don't think it's physically possible for red. Maintain a 5-tile lead by the end of the week. So is it the next week, which they currently have? So is it the end of tonight, or is it the end of the next stream? Okay, good. The controller's working. End of Sundays, where all the week matches are. Now I've got to find that. Oh, right, the second one. Okay, so here we are, week 4. What games have we got? Kerpa v Blue. So Kerpa v Blue, that can be 2, that can be 1 for red. James Eel, Heartseed Haru. So that would be 1, 4, 5. So blue could lose 5 points if red win both games. 3 for green. And then that's it. Okay. So we've got to the end of this table. So there's the 3-for-all, where I think Epicosity is probably the weakest out of... Well, I think Gent is definitely the best. Rubber... I don't know Rubber and Epicosity. I think Epicosity's been around longer, so I'd give it to him. But if he does win, he's going to get 8 points, which is basically going to secure the victory on its own. So Gent is going to really have to pull his weight there if he wants this tournament to go on any longer. Here, I don't think this has any effect. Captures 1 neutral tile. They need to take 1 off blue. This guy versus no one? Does he just instantly win that? It's not for me to decide, or me to know. That will happen on someone else's stream. But basically, we got a lot of close matchups here. James v Eel is probably in blue's favour. Kerpa v blue. I think that's probably in blue coons, but you can never rule out Kerpa because he gets so lucky. Cyanide versus Weasel. I think I'd probably give that to Weasel. Weasel's probably the favourite there. Haru versus Heartseed. Haru's definitely the favourite, but I wouldn't... Heartseed's a bit of a dark horse. He can pull out some weird stuff. QQ versus Coloru. That's again a tough one because it's really hard to predict Coloru, but QQ's pretty good. Pretty good. And E308 versus Mishi should go to Mishi, but he has been known to fail occasionally. Okay. So let's get back to the game. We got Kerpa versus Blue to start with. Hello everybody. Which is going to be an eco versus defense, so Blue's going to win extra if they get this win. And for the sake of the tournament, they'd better not. Because it's seriously running out of games where Blue is... It's going to soon become mathematically impossible for Blue to lose if they keep on winning. Because they just need to hold on. What the hell's Blue doing? It's just standing there. Okay, I'm wondering if there'll be some out-of-game diplomacy between red and green to, you know, decide who's gonna... Are they gonna team up? Can they even team up? I'd expect probably in the free-for-all you'd see them team up. But I don't know if we're gonna see it, if they can do it in the 1v1s in any way. Maybe just by collaborating on who's gonna buy what mercs. Alright, so we got Squirrel, Lizard, Skunk, Cam, Fox, Mine against Kerpa with Squirrel, Lizard, Toad, Cam, Boar, Mine. Sorry, I've just noticed something very suspicious on the sheet. Okay, so Blue Coon... No, that's Kerper, sorry. I'm getting mixed up because he's the colour blue. Yeah, this is a very important match because Blue, by which I mean Kerper, by which I mean the blue team, can just take another tile. So Blue Coon's really got a lot of pressure on him. Because then it's going to be damn near impossible for Blue to lose. Can Blue even lose 2 tiles in the rest of the week? I'm not sure they can. And, so far we haven't seen much. Looked like there was going to be some early aggression with both players putting down early warrens, but it didn't amount to anything. Map-wise, I mean, it's pretty solid for Kerper. A good, like, triangle of mills to expand to. This one is ahead of by the high ground, which will be a bit of a threat, but probably not too much. Kerper can just hold up here. The other thing is Blue Coon. If he does that, Blue Coon will be able to run lizards around here and maybe poke at this base or in at the side here. So I'll have to watch out for that. But it should be something Kerper can handle, especially if he just puts a few mines down here. Blue Coon. Blue Coon's got his own set of expansions. He's got these two. This one's moving very close to Kerper, especially if Kerper takes this one. So it's pretty risky. This one is quite a way out from Blue Coon's base, so Kerper running around with lizards can do a lot of harassment there, even if Blue Coon... I think between these 2 trees, Blue Coon could set up some mines and prevent that, but he couldn't prevent it entirely. He does have his own lizards though, so he would be able to get there going along this road very quickly. So maybe he could do enough. And this base, if he can't hold here, then this base is going to die because it's right next to the high ground. And it's actually quite an inconvenient high ground for Blue Coon because all of these boxes and stuff, it's going to make it difficult for Blue to actually get up the hill. He's got to go through like a narrow zigzagging path. Oh yeah, it's not just over the loser. They have to be 5 tiles ahead. So if Green gets up, then they'll be within 5 tiles. Okay, yeah, I was misunderstanding how it worked. I hadn't really thought it through properly. Alright. So, there is some chance, even if Blue Coon manages to lose this game. What I'm going to be curious about is see how these Toads do. I think Toads do pretty well in this meta against the Chameleons. For Chameleons, I think going up to 9 Toads is a really useful counter. Gets so much burst damage that the Chameleons can't really tank, which is their main role. And with Kerper having 6 Chameleons of his own, but Blue Coon not having any quite so quick burst damage, I'm thinking that this probably does go to Kerper unless Blue micros a lot better. Now, one thing that could change it is this Fox. Fox isn't the best against Chameleons, but it can 2-shot them. I believe it's a 2-shot that Fox kills a Chameleon at the moment. And it will 2-shot... Yeah, it must be. It 2-shots the Skunks. It will 2-shot the Chameleons. It will 1-shot all of the Tier 1. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at Blue Coon's team there. The Boar is going to take a lot of shots if Kerper ever gets out. Kerper does scout that Fox, but it is a bit delayed due to not having enough money. I'm wondering if Kerper's going to come in. He's got time. Another thing to know, which would be important, is does Blue Coon know he has to look out for mines? Speaking of mines, Kerper's just walking straight over there. He's walking in with all his Chameleons at half health. That might be the game changer. These Toads came in, and they basically blow up on one Warren that was going down anyway. But the Chameleons just have so much health between them that they're still pushing forward, but they're so weak. I don't think they're going to be able to get this. I think even the pigs could have handled that. And now, while that was going on, while Kerper was busy microing his Chameleons, the Tier 1 was just getting picked off by the reinforcements from Blue Coon. Now, Blue Coon did lose a Warren there. He lost this row of... In fact, I think he lost a couple of Warrens because he no longer got Lizards either. So he lost a few Warrens, he lost those mines, but I think he came out pretty safe. He just needs to keep this Fox, and the Fox is fragile. If it goes onto these, gets shot at by the cabin, that's not going to help matters. Now, Blue Coon is ahead in economy. It all comes down to this Fox. Like, if this Fox just walks into these mines, or this chameleon and dies, it's done for. And that's why Blue Coon's being really smart here. He's moving his Fox onto the farms, onto the mill, because you can't build mines there. That's guaranteed mineless. And he tried to move his chameleons forward enough to mine sweep, but it's one of those instances where the reduced mine range actually works in its favour, because it saves the mines for what they really need. Okay, so Kerper going up to a third base. This Fox is sort of just standing here. Blue Coon hasn't got any value out of it, and in fact, he's just about to lose it. Yep, good chameleon trap. Cost 2 chameleons, but Kerper will probably be glad to pay that 120 food for a Fox that Blue Coon's going to have to sell down to get again, and he is trying to get it again. That's a big loss for Blue Coon. Okay, Kerper's looking to come in here. He knows he should have the army advantage. The chameleons get in, take a huge beating from the toads. You can see what I mean there. The toad squirrel combo. The toads just do so much burst damage, and then the squirrels finishing it off in one volley. Blue Coon sells the Fox, realizes that he doesn't have the time, and it probably wouldn't help him if he was at the moment. He just needs more stuff on the field. But these chameleons are just stomping stuff as quickly as they get out. They're smashing down these Warrens so fast. I think this looks like GG. He's fighting it out. With these Warren tanking, he's able to take down the chameleons. He's desperately trying to save his own. It's going to get shot as soon as it comes out. It does. Now Blue Coon's done for. And that's game 1. It's looking good for the Royal Knights. Okay, game 2. Territory on the line here. And this isn't a merc this time. This is a fully fledged member of the Royal Knight Party. In fact, I think he might be the Marshal. Let me check. He's a general. The Marshal is Colaru at the moment. But he's been a major part. He's definitely been an icon for the Royal Knights. We are seeing a bit of a change in loadout for Blue Coon. Squirrel, Lizard still, but Falcon, Cam, Wolf mine. So, taking out the Skunks for the Falcons, that's more direct damage, as well as some air units, less AoE. The Chameleons basically give him as much AoE as he needs. Although, honestly, looking back on it, maybe the Skunks would be better, since Kerper was going so heavy into tier 1. Then again, I think it might be because the Falcons don't get hit by chameleons or toads that Blue Coon wants them. And the Wolf, less susceptible to mines, mass tier 1 and chameleons than the Fox is. Probably a better all-around tier 3 unit. And works really well with Falcon Cam. Alright. So, both players getting up to 8 farms. This is quite a difficult map for either player to attack. And it's actually a very difficult map for Bluecoon to expand on. I mean, it's no peach for Kerper with all this water around his bases and all these trees. Getting from one base to the other is a bit of a hassle, but Bluecoon has to move all the way out here. And even then, he's only got that one. Kerper can probably take this one. I mean, maybe it's not that unfair. This base is very hard for Kerper to take. If Bluecoon ever does take this base is done for. Bluecoon can probably hold out pretty close to this base, since it's going to be very difficult. It's going to take a long time for Kerper to get all the way around here. If Bluecoon just puts a mine down somewhere around here, then he should have enough vision to know if Kerper's attacking that way, and that'll give him time to move up. Now, what he's done instead is he's taken this base in the corner and is going to try and ninja expand. Kerper hasn't scouted that at the moment. He hasn't even seen that there's a base there, but that is really somewhere he should go check. He might think it's empty, because he hasn't actually seen the way up, and I don't think he wants to scout over here much. He looks like this is his favoured scouting path. Now, Bluecoon, it might be worth him just dumping 60 food into this mill, just to look like that's where he's put his food. You know, just so Kerper doesn't even think about a ninja expansion. But Bluecoon should probably be putting down more farms on this. He is now. I think it's pretty safe. Once, at a certain point, once a hidden base gets up, you want to just go full 8 farms on it. Like, after it's been up for a minute, you might as well just fully saturate it, because it's probably not going to get caught out. Like, if Kerper hasn't scouted there already, he's not going to scout there. He's had 5 minutes. Like, it's just not happening. But he is going to start getting suspicious that there is no expansion coming out from Bluecoon, no extra economy. That's why I really think Bluecoon should go for this mill. Just put 60 food into it, and then put the rest of the food into this. Use it as a cover, as a decoy. Oh, Kerper's moving out. He's moving towards this hidden base. Is he going to spot it? He's going the wrong way too. It looks like he just wants to attack. And Bluecoon's on the complete wrong side to do anything about this. Bluecoon, that was some bad positioning there. Bluecoon should have had his army up here. He knew Kerper was coming this way round. He's got nothing to defend on this side. He doesn't need to be there. And these mines should have been down so long ago, because he needs to know if Kerper's scouting this way often. Okay, so economy's in Bluecoon's favour for the moment. Kerper's going really greedy on this base. So that'll bode well for him. Because Bluecoon's not being nearly as greedy. He's being far too conservative with this mill. That mill just needs to be fully saturated like a minute ago. Yeah. The more ninja you expand... Okay, finally, Kerper is going to come up and see this. And it wouldn't matter that Kerper scouted this now if Bluecoon had done this a while ago. Now, Bluecoon might not actually get enough economy out of it. I'm wondering if he's going to take this mill. So, Bluecoon's moving to the opposite side of the map. And I do kind of like it. It puts him a lot closer. He can basically defend his main base just by threatening to attack in here. And he is still ahead on economy with the campfire. At least until this... He will be when this wildfire's out. There we go. No tier 3. Oh, I tell a lie. There's a boar on the way that I didn't even notice go down. We were too busy. I was too busy focusing on this mill. Now this boar walking through the water, it's going to be inconvenient. I think the falcons will have a nice time chewing through it. The real problem for Bluecoon is that sheer amount of tier 1 Kerpa's got. If he can't destroy those lizards and squirrels quickly, then they'll destroy the falcons and the boar will just clear up everything else. Cams aren't that bad against boar, but the boar bomb is now a much bigger problem for them. It means that they essentially trade more than they win. And given that Kerpa has extra chameleons, well, he's got the same number, really. That's going to be fine, but Kerpa's still going to have an easier time destroying the chameleons due to his toad lizard combo. His toad lizard squirrel. Bluecoon's probably going to give up this base. He can't afford to give up this one. It's a bit weird how he took this base, but then decided to hold up here. But he's coming in round the side. He's getting Bluecoon's expansion. That's going to be gone before Kerpa can get there. Kerpa, in fact, Bluecoon should attack now. Kerpa's moving through a narrow gap, through water, loads of his armies behind. He can just focus on all the shit that can hit air. If he gets rid of all this tier 1, then the Falcons can do the rest. But he can't. And that's a major loss for Bluecoon. Probably too much of his army was in these mines. Now Bluecoon is in trouble. He sold all his tier 1, which makes sense against the boar, but doesn't make sense against anything else. I think Bluecoon had a good army. He's got a good army building, he just doesn't have time. And it looks like this is going to be another win for the Royal Knights, as Kerpa gets right inside the base. Bluecoon's doing the right thing, trying to focus down these squirrels, but he surrenders, and that's it. That was a tough map for Bluecoon, to be fair. It was a really spread out series of bases he had to take. But I still think he probably could have played it better. Kerpa gets the RNG in his favour again. And that's going to mean that Blue takes a territory. The Royal Knights take a territory. And the Legion lose a territory. Which means Blue is now six territories ahead. So it's going to come down to Green, really. James versus Eel, though. Maybe Eel can start doing some sort of comeback by killing the king himself. $14, Green 8. Alright, so we got Eel versus James. Leader of the... Hang on. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Now, I've heard some talk about James being a spy, but I assumed it was just a joke. Is he actually been playing for the penal squad this entire time? Or is this just being in the wrong costume? Genuinely. Was James a spy this entire time? If so, what the fuck does that mean? I didn't even know that could happen. If he's a spy, then why is Blue winning? Why has he been spending so much money on mercenaries? Why has he been conspiring to get... Like, when I was playing for green, he conspired to get me to throw a game. So, I'm guessing this is probably a misclick. But no, because that's... You don't just go straight in the costume. You pick the costume first, and then you get to pick your loadout. So you could easily back out of the loadout screen. Unless he just didn't notice or forgot. But how do you forget when you're the leader of the fucking faction? Okay, like... I gotta move... We'll come back to this, but for now, let's talk about the loadouts. It's Squirrel, Mole, Skunk, Snake, Fox, Machine Gun against Squirrel, Toad, Falcon, Cam, Boar, Balloon. So, I like the snakes from Eel. They'll do well against the Cams, Falcons, and Boar. It's good to see that Toads seem to be making a comeback in the meta. I've been using them quite a bit, and we've seen them used in 3 games tonight already. So far, every game. The Squirrel Mole from Eel feels a bit last patch, but it's still pretty solid. Like, I've been playing against this guy, and he still runs it, and it's still really fucking annoying. And I think Toads are kind of less good about clearing it out. I think it might just be Mass Squirrel you want to go for, or Tier 2. I think Moles have sort of moved into the position Toads used to have, where you beat them by teching up. So some Falcons from James would probably be a good call right now, especially as Eel is taking into Skunks. In fact, Eel is just doing a this guy build at the moment. He hasn't got the pigeons, but other than that, it's all this guy. He's staying on one base. He's going Mole, Squirrel, Skunk. He's going to move in. And we'll have to see how well he does. I think he could do pretty well. Mole Squirrel is very annoying for Cams to deal with. I think between the Cams and the Toad, they might be able to make it work. But especially with the Skunks backing them up, the Moles just hold the Chameleons in place for so long. And you see how it works there. Like, that Chameleon just went down easily, and now it's just Skunk Squirrel against Raw Squirrel. Eel's pushing forward. He could get some serious damage done. The Mill is going to be tanking a lot. It's in a very good spot. And now that Eel doesn't have his Moles, he's actually having to back off. I think he's backing off a bit too early. He's still got 2 pretty healthy Skunks, and a lot of James' army was about half health, so I think he could have kept going. So, but maybe he's playing it safe. While he did win the fight, he didn't actually get much lasting damage done. James didn't lose any farms, he hasn't lost any warrens, he just lost more units. Okay, James trying to get a balloon up, and balloon will be a good call against Skunks and Moles. It means you basically just have to focus on the Squirrels. It also gives you a huge amount of vision. Look at that. Look at how much that vision changes. It's huge. So this high ground is basically a non-issue at the moment. And Eel won't be able to sneak up on James at all. Alright, so Eel is trying to poke down this balloon with one snake, and that is not going to work. Balloons are so good at warding off poking units. Ferrets, snakes, and foxes, it's really hard to poke in with them if there's even just one balloon up. But he's coming in, and this is going to be a full fight. He gets a couple of tags on that chameleon. so that's not nothing, but he can't really afford to do a long fight here in range of the balloon, and James seems to know this. He's moving his army around, not engaging, just letting that balloon get free pot shot after free pot shot. I'm curious what the logic behind that machine gun is. It's really far back. It's not really protecting anything. It's not giving him any vision. If you're going to put a machine gun down for defensive reasons, it should be up on this high ground here. Yeah, there. Far forward, because then it might be able to do some help even when Eel is pushing. Hello, Brandy. Okay. So, both players are up on 9 farms. Going to be 8 soon as their last farms follow out. Eel's securing his 3rd. That's nice and safe. James has a safe 3rd, and a safe 4th, and a campfire. Whereas Eel could take this mill, but it's pretty risky. He basically has to win a big fight to do it. But, you know, if he starts putting machine gun nests up here, then he can really discourage James from moving in while he takes it. At the moment, he's just trying to get a lot of poking done with these snakes, and he's managing to get away with it. He doesn't quite get this Warren. An extra balloon going up. He's going for a fox, which I think is an interesting choice when you see James's army. And speaking of tier 3s, James has a boar one built. Both of the tier 3 ones built at the same time and both supply blocks, so there shouldn't be much difference between them. Eel losing a snake there. Oh, and he decides to push in. Those toads doing some good work. I think these chameleons are going to die. One of them does, 2 of them do. Okay, so I think that fight went in Eel's favour. But again, no real lasting damage, just good fights from Eel, which will add up, but it means James isn't out of the running. He can still make a comeback. Okay, that Warren's dead, but he does lose a snake for it, which isn't so good. Boar, Tosh, the boar. I noticed the boar, but the thing about the boar is, the boar moving into all these snakes is gonna have a rough time. Eel does have a lot of tier 1, so maybe it'll work. But between the snakes and the fox, I'm pretty sure the boar is gonna last like a few seconds. I think the most important thing it will be doing for James is just tanking. Oh, but James isn't focus firing on that boar! Maybe he'll get away with it though. He's just picking off the falcons with his fox. He is losing structures, warrens and a farm. And now he's basically just got tier 1 and a fox against the boar. And rather than the boar tanking for the rest of James's army, it's the other way around. The rest of James's army is tanking for the boar. Oh, and the boar catches the fox! Oh, Eel. Okay, Eel's got some... Eel, chase it down! Oh, no. Okay, that's definitely brought James back, but James is really supply blocked. The balloon goes down. This boar is about to die. That should be enough. And now, it looks like Eel's just going to swarm over. I thought Eel was not quite far behind by that fight, but apparently not. Apparently, he's fine. He's actually ahead, it turns out. And in these low army counts, these snakes are going to be doing a lot of work if they're microed properly. Okay, he wants to pick off this mill. He needs to be careful about overextending here. Both players have sold off their tier 3s, but now James is only on this campfire. He does have a mill up and ready to go, but Eel's looking pretty good at the moment. Like, James got a lot of damage done in that attack, but not enough, and it was a pretty all-in move. I'm surprised that went so well. It looked like James really had it, especially when he got the fox. But I guess I just didn't account for how supply blocked he was. Like, he was just getting no reinforcements, and eventually that attack just petered out. Now James is losing another half of his economy with that campfire going down. Eel just sacrificing everything to keep these snakes alive, and these snakes have been carrying him through the game. And Eel takes it over the possible traitorous king, which I gotta admit I was quite surprised by. Let's see if James sticks with green. If he sticks with green, I think there's definitely some shenanigans going on. But yeah, Eel looking like he could do some work here, and he is the underdog. James is a very high ranked player. He's not the leader for nothing. Oh, James sticks with green. So, it's not a mistake. It's immensely unlikely to be a mistake at this point. James is pretty much a spy. James is... like, I can't imagine James forgot he was supposed to be playing blue twice in a row when he's the leader. I think this has to be deliberate. And I don't know why or what his plan is, but it has to be deliberate. Okay, so James... okay, let's look at the armies. James cutting his toads out to put lizards in, but otherwise his army stays exactly the same. Squirrel, lizard, falcon, cam, boar, balloon. Eel changing things up a bit. Squirrel, mole, skunk, snake, mine, balloon. So he's cut the machine guns and he's cut the fox. And he's stuck in more defensive structures. The balloon... balloon I think is probably a good choice. I didn't think the machine guns were too bad for him. The mines I could take or leave. He's taken a bit of a risk by not taking any tier 3, but given that James's tier 3 is the boar, I think he'll actually be fine. Because snakes aren't like falcons in the way you can just sort of mass them, and they scale so well. If you mass a lot of snakes, they tend to just overkill a lot of units. They'll put down... you'll have like 20 snakes, and 14 of them will tag the same squirrel. So it's really not that useful. But against James's army in particular, where he's got the chameleon boar, both very high health units, and the falcons, which take, I think, 3. It's 2 or 3 tags apiece. It might end up working out. Okay, well, we're seeing an unusual play where both players go for tier 2 straight off the bat, especially considering there's this it's not that long and there's this road right between each other, so it's a bit odd that they take a bit of a risky play. Also, probably a much better map for Eel. This mill is really safe, this one on the high ground. James's mill here, surrounded by water, but Eel can poke at it from this high ground pretty easily, and it's hard for James to really defend that. The balloons and falcons will help, but it'll still be difficult. And what is Eel doing? He's floating over 200 food, he sticks down a couple of warrens. I think he wants to move in. No, well, yes and no, he's just going to move up. Is he going to be allowed to get these mines down? Not quite. One of them goes off. And this snake is getting quite a lot of work done. Again. I think people were a bit too quick to toss snakes out of their decks. But the lizards are definitely going to be a bit of a problem for it. As you can see there, the lizard's able to chase it down. And this fight is looking real bad for Eel. He loses 2 Warrens right off the bat. There's still this chameleon up, swatting down tier 1. Okay, finally the chameleon goes down, but Eel has lost the farm. He's still got this base up, impressively. And he's putting a farm right down on it. That's ballsy. Is this another attack where James went a bit too all in? I don't think so. James is able to reinforce this time. He has a much higher army value. And Eel is leaving his army here. That is ballsy. And the lizards just come in. Eel's army gets sandwiched a bit. It's just these 2 snakes. But these 2 snakes seem to be enough. But oh no, he's losing more farms. This is going very bad for Eel. I don't know why he tried to expand so aggressively. The snakes are doing their best, but they can't take all of this by themselves. I mean, a lot of that comes down to the fact that Eel was just floating a lot of food whenever the attacks happened. If he'd even got those mines up before James moved in, he possibly could have been able to hold. As it was, only one of them got up. It's curious that he went for the really aggressive expansion as well. He could have definitely afforded to take the safe one. Alright. Game 3. James still wearing enemy colours. And now the toads come out. As soon as Eel loses, once to the lizards, he brings out the toads. And he's put the skunks back and the machine guns. He's left the mines and the balloon. I think Eel's deck is pretty solid. James is running the same deck as last time. Squirrel, Lizard, Falcon, Cam, Boar, Balloon. Now, this is something that always makes me laugh. I can't help but laugh whenever Eel gets bad map gen. Because it's sort of... Because unlike everyone else, he is kind of responsible for it. And this is some bad map gen. Where is Eel supposed to expand to? Over here? That's miles away. Over here? That's even further. Whereas James has 2 nice close bases behind his own. Eel is pretty much forced into a 1-base play here. And yet he's being less aggressive than James, who went 7-farm double. Sorry, just had to blow my nose. Eel is one of the devs, yeah. I'm pretty sure he's the lead developer at the moment. He wasn't always. He didn't develop this game from the start, but he was a big player, got really involved with the community, and is now sort of development passed over to him. Alright, Eel's coming in. He's got 3 squirrels and a toad. And this 1 cam is chasing them back. Maybe this is all just a bait. No, James doesn't take it if it was. I think if James tried to move in there, he would have got fucked. But Eel... Man, this is tough for Eel. He needs to just pick the right moment. And there's an art to the 1-base all-in that not a lot of people are practiced at. You need to know... You really need to know your timings. This guy is really good at it. Gent is pretty good at it. But there aren't many other people who are really good at knowing when the exact time to move in is. Aralu's another one who's really good with his timings. In fact, I'd say Aralu might be the best player at reading timings in the game. That genuinely seems to be how he gets most of his wins, is just picking the right moment to attack. What about you, Weasel? I haven't seen you play in, like, months, so I can't say. Apologies to everyone who is disappointed that I didn't call out their great timing skills. Okay, so Eel is just taking up. He's going for falcons and snakes. He's got no anti-tier 1 in his deck. He sold the toads, which is pretty debatable. He needs to... Well, he's not going for a 1-base all-in anymore. Now he's just trying to hold. If he gets this base and he can set up a machine gun, I think he's got a good chance of holding. Put down a machine gun. He's put down 2 farms. This is really greedy from Eel. I guess in his mind he's behind in economy, so he needs to go up. But he also then burrows away. He needs to be here to micro. When you've got falcons and snakes, you need to micro. Okay, the falcons are using this mill tanking really effectively. A lot of the squirrels go down for Eel, but Eel holds. He's not lost it. But he can't push in due to just the sheer amount of tier 1 James has, so he can't really counterattack. And it's going to take Eel. Eel's got a long way for his reinforcements to come. And now he's not fighting on the mill. He needs to get rid of these tier 1 units, but he just can't. Eel... This was a bad decision by Eel, I think, to move in without any answer to tier 1. And unfortunately, James takes it. Now here's the question. Who gets those points? Like, is James disqualified for picking the wrong colour? Does it go to green? Does it go to red? Does it go to blue? I don't know. That's something for the referees. But definite questions need to be raised about whose side James is really on. And I gotta say, I noticed something about James, about the lineup today. James is broken a promise he made to me, which I'm quite peeved about. It's not too unexpected, but my God, what a dick. I mean, I can reveal that his spy, the spy for the Royal Knights, is Blue Coon, but pretty much everyone knew that already. And it might be a lie, so that's basically useless information that he gave me as collateral. Well, I've learnt my lesson. Never trust James. I think this whole tournament has just proven that how much of a liar James is. No ice cream. He didn't pay me the food he promised. And he's not even playing for the team he's supposed to be in charge of. And he may have been lying about who his spy was. Which, you know, is admittedly probably expected. So, we know for the future. This will not be the last tournament of Tooth and Tail. It will not be the last time that James needs to be diplomatic. And he's going to find it much more difficult in the future, I'd imagine. Alright, so we got Heartseed versus Haru. The Battle of the H's. Squirrel, Lizard, Ferret, Falcon, Wire, Balloon against Squirrel, Lizard, Toad, Falcon, Cam, Mine. Okay, so Haru, another strong competitor, has helped the Royal Knights get where they are. Overtaken a lot of territory. Heartseed, is Heartseed a merc? Let me just check that real quick. Heartseed is no, he's a minister for the Penal Squad. Penal Squad? Yeah, it's a Penal Squad. Okay, there's... He only stands to win one VP here, whereas Haru stands to win 2. That won't flip a territory, but Green needs to start getting... Green needs to flip at least one territory if they want to get... They need to get within 5 territories of Blue. So starting to flip some territories would be a really big help. If they could take one off Blue and gain one for themselves, they'd go up to only being 4 behind, which means Blue wouldn't even win. I think I'm doing that maths right. If Blue is 6 ahead of Green, then if Green gets a territory, they'd go up to only 4 behind. Okay. Using the barbed wire, but then running through it. His Lizard to take out the Chameleon, which was already taking quite a bit of damage due to trying to knock down the barbed wire. Heartseed could get some work done here. It all comes down to, is he going to burst down this Chameleon? Not quite. Harry's keeping it alive. I think Heartseed could have got it. Okay, but he's not leaving empty-handed. He does get the warrant. Now, a problem for Heartseed is where exactly is he going to expand to? I think down here. This is actually a relatively safe expansion. The main problem is that Haru can poke at it with falcons from the low ground. But otherwise, it's pretty good. And Heartseed could put a balloon up here to discourage poking. It wouldn't work completely because the falcons would give high ground vision to the squirrels. Not to mention, falcons can burst down a balloon quicker than a balloon can burst down multiple falcons. But even so, even though that is possible for Heartseed to take, it's definitely not as easy as a second base is going to be for Haru. And Haru now... Heartseed was trying to get something done with his lizards, but it doesn't work out. He has to retreat. He only loses a couple, but that's still 40 food that he'd rather have. This is also not a great map for ferrets. He doesn't really have an easy position to poke from. But forcing all of these units into tight space does work out well. Bit of a miss micro letting his ferrets get chopped down. But it's working out. If he gets this mill up, then he can start setting up defenses here. If he gets a balloon up, then he's actually in a really good spot. I'm surprised he hasn't sold this barbed wire. I guess it is only 10 food, but still, every little bit helps, right? Okay, now this is a ballsy hold from Heartseed, but it is also very all-in. If Heartseed loses his hold, loses his grip here, then he's out. And he's taking his fight in quite an awkward position. He's in the choke point he wants to be forcing Haru through. He's not got anything that can shoot up at the moment either. So he's going to have to run away from this falcon and try and keep his ferrets alive. He gets some poking done from behind. Maybe he can keep hold if he can just rally up enough tier 1 to hunt down these falcons. One falcon goes down. The chameleon's tanking for the other. A second chameleon's come in. And this... oh... it's costing Haru quite a lot of units. If he's going to get this ferret, yeah, it's cost Haru a lot of army. Actually, Heartseed might still be able to make this work. He's got in, he's going onto farms, he's got the ferrets on these warrens. There's only one base up for Haru. Haru's on one farm and the base is going down. Heartseed's got this. Just that mill tanking enough damage. And with the ferrets poking, constantly picking off units, Heartseed was actually able to pull out a win. And that's a big deal. Not only is Haru one of Blue's strongest members, the Royal Knight's strongest champions, but it also makes Green get a little bit closer to flipping that territory. Now it's not an upset it's not an upset yet. Heartseed still needs to win one more game. But I did say you couldn't rule out Heartseed against Haru. Heartseed can make upsets happen. Okay. Squirrel, lizard, ferret, falcon, wire, balloon. I'm pretty sure Heartseed had the falcons last time. I don't think he ever got them out, but I think he had them. I know he had everything else, so I think this is an unchanged deck. And Haru is definitely an unchanged deck, because Haru is always an unchanged deck. Oh, Haru, Haru, Haru. That map was so much worse for Heartseed. That was really good positioning by Heartseed. It's not something I even considered. Taking that mill and forcing you through that tight choke point was really good map control from Heartseed to do that. But that was a terrible map for Heartseed. He had no second expansion of any value. Alright, we're seeing double warrens coming out. Heartseed leaving his very far forward. Was it? I was pretty sure that map was in Haru's favour. I mean, we can go back and check, but that was my initial reaction. Heartseed at 2 safe expands. We might have a difference of opinion there. Alright, well, Heartseed at the moment coming in. He's taking a lot of damage on his lizards. Doesn't look like he's going to get anything here. Well, he gets a farm, but he doesn't. At that point, Heartseed should have just sacrificed his lizards all onto the pig. Get 2 pigs, because now he's in a really tight spot. 12 squirrels coming over. Heartseed needs to get his defenses up, but he's got so many units on the front line. Why is there barbed wire here? Okay, Squizzard against Squirrel with the defender's advantage. Heartseed might be able to hold. And if he does, then it's going to be worth losing all your lizards to get 1 farm. Okay, Heartseed holds. Okay. Okay, so now Heartseed's coming in, but now Defender's Advantage is going the other way. He gets 1 warren, but he came in with a bit of a higher army. Heartseed is basically relying on the Squizzard, the power of the Squizzard comp to take this at the moment. It's looking like a game where ferrets might actually be pretty useful Ferrets up on this high ground can hit the mill. Haru's units are going to have to walk through this water to get at them. These warrens aren't even too safe against ferrets. They can be poked. It's looking decent for Heartseed, but it's not looking bad for Haru at the moment. This mine on the high ground is going to help a lot. Gives him some vision, lets him know if Heartseed's coming in. This map is definitely favoured for Heartseed. Particularly because of this mill gives Heartseed a third expansion, but also all of this, the layout of the land here, with Heartseed having easy access to a hill, and Haru having to defend across water, is going to be very useful for Heartseed. Okay. Heartseed coming in with a whole load of whole load of squirrels. Get whatever poking he can done. He's a bit behind on economy at the moment. Toads coming out for Haru. Be interesting to see how well they do against this mass squizzard. We got a balloon going up. Heartseed's putting a lot of money into defences, which I think makes sense. If you've got your third base and your opponent doesn't, just defend, take the game long. Okay, balloon goes down, but Haru's definitely losing this fight. He's got the balloon, but he can't afford to take those sorts of trades. And now we're getting some poking on the mill. Heartseed's trying to focus down the pigs. He's even clearing out a mine with the ferret shots as Haru tries to do some ferret dancing. Now, I think Heartseed could really probably stand to just stay there and poke. He's got a much bigger army at the moment. The mill would tank a lot, which is, I think, why he didn't want to. Okay, now he's taken this high ground. The mine went off. Did a scattering of damage, but not enough. This is looking really bad for Haru. He's been kind of screwed by map gen here. That time I have no problem missing it this time. What? This map is fine. Alright. Oh, maybe it is. As Haru gets in with the squirrel rally. Takes out a ferret. Is he going to get the second? He does get the second. And now, Haru's on the warrens. I don't think Heartseed's going to have time to rebuild any army. A lot of his warrens are very far forward, which is good for attacking, but really bad for defending. He's losing farms. Haru's got a better economy. There's still barbed wire floating about over here for some reason. I guess it's in case Haru decides to run all the way around here with his lizards. Good for ferret deck. Well, Heartseed's running a ferret deck. I mean, this mill is a lot harder for Haru to take, especially under that level of pressure especially with that level of pressure Heartseed was pushing on. And this mill is much safer. I definitely think this mill is in this map is in Heartseed's favour. I don't know. I mean, this is only 20 food, but still, he's supply blocked on the squirrel because he's lacking 20 food, so it's not like just being 20 food doesn't matter. Okay, so Heartseed really needs to defend hard here. He's getting up some barbed wire, which is a good start, but he's so far behind an army, and he's behind an economy. It's going to take something big for him to come back from this. Oh, maybe he could get on that. He could definitely have got on that pig. He could definitely have killed that pig. He could still do it, but no, he's running back. You've got to sacrifice these lizards. You've got to make the sacrifice plays to catch up. Those 3 lizards are useless in defense. But if they manage to pick off 1 pig here, Heartseed's suddenly only 1 farm behind. Oh, and Heartseed really needs to be doing some damage with his squirrels to the chameleons. He needs his squirrels further forward, because these chameleons are just clearing out the barbed wire for free. And now Heartseed's in even more trouble. He is getting some tier 2 out. If he gets these falcons out in time, then maybe he's got a chance, but he's not going to get them out in time. No way. And he's going to be fighting right on his warrens. Okay, 1 falcon is coming out. 1 falcon over a mill can do quite a bit. But now Haru has managed to expand to his 3rd base. He's got triple the economy that Heartseed's got. He's going up to quadruple. This is looking so bad for Heartseed. I think Heartseed's one moment to come back was to get a lizard run around on this mill, and he didn't. So now I think I think Haru could just come in and win the game at the moment. But there's not really a need for him to do it. He might as well just take his time. You don't want any unpleasant surprises. But with this army difference, there's no way how Heartseed holds. He's trying to get up a balloon. A pretty far back position. I mean, it would help a bit, I suppose. It would cover a lot of... Oh no, he sells it. And he's just going for more falcons. I mean, at a certain point, leaving your opponent in the game becomes just as dangerous as, you know, attacking in. Because you're giving them a chance to recover. But Haru isn't laying off completely. Heartseed, to catch up, would need to basically sell all his warrens, put it into economy, go hard on this mill, and then he'd have a chance to catch up. Because then he'd have to rebuild his army as well. So Haru, just keep on scouting in, is being able to force that off by just, you know, always looking like he's about to attack. Now this is the classic desperation move of I'm going to sell everything, go mass lizards, and hope to get a base trade. It is not going to work when Haru's got his own mass lizards. In fact, he's going for what I said he had to do, which is go mass economy on his other base. Okay, Heartseed's going to try and do base trade, but it's not going to work. He has to run so far. And there's no way he's getting to this base. Still, I'd love to see him do it. Oh? He's making the right choice by going for the base that still farms. He has got it, but now Haru's lizards have caught up. And Heartseed doesn't have any extra warrens, and he's run into a dead end. Okay. Okay, let's have a look. Before we go to game 3, let's have a look at this map. Like, I don't consider this a safe expansion. Not when Haru's running lizards. I don't consider this a safe expansion for anyone. I don't consider this a safe expansion for Heartseed because Haru can poke at it with falcons. With Haru having high ground vision granted by his falcons, like at least 4 farms are going to die there, and probably the mill itself. I think this is the only one you could consider a safe expansion, and that goes to Haru. I mean, this is safe in the fact that it's miles away, but that's it. Yeah, but Heart isn't going to be holding his lizards over here. He's going to be holding his lizards over... he's going to be holding most of his army over here, because this is the most obvious attack route for Haru. So, a few bits of barbed wire aren't enough to slow down lizards. So, Heartseed's either got to invest really heavily in defences here with his barbed wire, because the lizards can just run through it otherwise. Or he's got to leave his lizards here. And he also then has to, you know, not be scouting when Haru moves out. Like, I don't consider this a safe base, even with barbed wire and lizards on Heartseed's side. Barbed wire and balloon make it easy to defend that. No. I disagree. The ones in the centre, it's not lizards that's going to worry this, because lizards can only get round up here. It's falcons that are going to destroy this. Heartseed can't hold on the high ground, really. And he has to invest so much more into it if he does want to hold it. This base I don't think goes to anyone. But it's definitely not a Heartseed base. Honestly, I think this attack is what seals it. Haru losing that chameleon so quickly, and then losing his entire army following it. All to one bit of barbed wire. I think if you're Haru, what you do is you just take this base early, and then you try and hold over here, which would end up getting you poked at by ferrets. But you should be able to push up here. It's much easier to push up here than it is to push through here. Because if you go around here, your reinforcement distance is so long. And that applies to both players, so I don't think it goes to anyone. Take the 9 o'clock first. I mean, that's the one you go for. I don't know. If I was Heartseed, I'd probably take this mill and stick a balloon down on it. I don't think it would be too difficult for Haru to get at this mill with lizards. Like, especially if I've got balloons and ferrets, I take this mill. And I try and pressure from that. Because I would only take this mill third once you've got a secure hold here. Because once you've got a secure hold here, that shuts down this entire part of the map. Because it forces Haru to have to move his entire army up and around to get in here, which you can just put some barbed wire down to slow him down. It's not even going to slow him down much when he's got chameleons and lizards, but it will at least give you some warning. And you won't even really need the barbed wire there at all, because you'll be able to see him move. I think this is the best map. It's the best mill Heartseed could have taken. I mean, we did find out that this is in fact the best mill Heartseed could have taken. But I definitely don't agree that it's this mill. Anyway, we're just rewatching the entire game at this point, so let's move on. We're just gonna have to agree to disagree there. Because I'm not convinced. Alright, game 3. Squirrel, lizard, ferret, falcon, barbed wire, balloon. Against squirrel, lizard, toad, falcon, cam, mine. So same loadouts from both players. This time, this map is pretty definitely balanced. There's 3 mills that are pretty safe for Heartseed. This water is going to shut down a lot of attempts at lizard run by, so that's safe. Haru has these 3 meals that are pretty safe. I don't think I can go as far as giving him this one because of the Ferret, Balloon, Falcon combination Heartseed's got. This is so close to what's going to be Heartseed's base, and it's so next to the high ground that Heartseed can poke that too easily. Heartseed can pretty easily poke this one, but because it's so far, like, there's enough space that Heartseed won't be able to really get much balloon support. So while his ferrets will be able to hit from up on the nice safe high ground, he will have to expose himself to do it. Okay, so we're seeing Haru expand first. Heartseed's going to try and attack with lizards. Not recommended. In a base like this, he's got no way to run around, no back entrance. He's going to have to come through the front door, through warrens, up 2 hills. Taking the campfire quickly, I think that's fair. The quicker he takes it, the more likely he's going to get value out of it. I think he does need to expand though. He's falling behind, but maybe he's trying to build up for just one, like, quick attack. Mass lizard with ferrets. Like, the ferrets are also going to struggle slightly because of the hill. So Haru's got a nice safe base here, but when he has to start moving off the base, off that hill, things get a lot trickier. Haru never taking toads against Squizzard. I mean, he's got toads, he just hasn't played them. And honestly, when he's got his own Squizzard and his own chameleons, I think he'd probably be better going for more of his own Squizzard rather than toads. Okay, we're getting a forward expansion again from Heartseed. Will it be too late? He does have a lot of lizards, which, you know, aren't great at holding position, but sometimes the best defense is a good offense, right? Okay, can he get a balloon up? I think that's probably his next step. No, he's going for some squirrels. Like, you've got to have... Surely you go for some sort of... Okay, some sort of balloon. You put a balloon down just so you've got high ground vision. And so that you can't be held back by the falcons. I'm just worried about this mono lizard comp getting swallowed. Especially now that Haru's going for some toads. Okay, there's the balloon coming up. Okay, we're getting a forward warren. The balloon has gone up. Even though the warren goes down, this makes it a lot easier to get this ferret poking done. And they have got 2 warrens as well as the odd unit. This ferret poke is going to start adding up. And it makes it hard for Haru to take any more farms on this base. This might work out. Okay, he's got 1 farm, but it's a farm that's about to fallow out anyway, so it's not huge. I think the real story is just how much tier 1 Haru's getting. And these toads are just going to be such a problem for Heartseed at the moment. But we've seen this before, where with some good mill tanking, Heartseed is able to take games. Oh, but this ferret's going to go down. That's a big loss. Another big loss was the ferrets not hitting this pig that was building, rather they were hitting the mill. Okay, they do get the pig now. So I think Heartseed definitely needs some defenses here. He's losing so many squirrels, and there's still so many toads left. And oh, this fight was so bad. Oh, that was the fight Haru was waiting for. And that might be GG. Now, the problem there for Heartseed is barbed wire would have been so good if he could get it up on this hill, but how is Haru ever going to let him do that? The real problem for Heartseed now is just how far behind in eco is. He's only kept from starving by this campfire. It's 1 farm against 4. He has managed to rebuild an army. If I was him, I'd probably sell the ferrets. He's selling more lizards, taking down barbed wire. Is he going to be able to defend long enough? I mean, Haru's getting really far ahead in army now. I think selling the ferrets might have been his best call. Okay. So Haru's up to 8 farms quickly. Okay, now Heartseed sells the ferrets. Swaps into falcons. Haru gets a good scout off. Right, surely Haru's response is going to be, okay, he's just going to keep on building army. It looks like he's considering moving in. He isn't yet. Haru could just get really high up on economy. He could just sell, like, all his toads and just put down 8 farms here, and I think he'd be fine. I don't think Heartseed has anything that could defend against, that could really break through that. Now, this isn't quite the slow Haru death that we're used to. This campfire is completely out. But Heartseed is getting up to 8 farms. He's got another expansion option here. Another expansion option here. He's not out of this. It is possible he comes back. One bad engagement from Haru. Like, if Haru just moves in at the wrong time, then Heartseed's right back in this game. So, I think if there's ever a time for Haru to be slow and steady, this is it. Because look at how much defense. Like, this is so defendable. 6 barbed wire on the high ground with a balloon. Like, that's hard to attack into. And hang on. Heartseed's missing a farm here. He hasn't got a farm down on that corner. You can see in the mini-map. It's hidden behind the trees. Okay. Ban in the late game, possibly. Oh, this is a ballsy move. Attack over the water with 3 lizards. How much are they going to get done? Looks like they're only going to get 1. They could have probably got 2 there if he went straight for it. But I think he's probably going to be satisfied with just the 1. Didn't see it. Yeah, I figured. Given that it's right behind the trees. That's why you've always got to check your mini-map. Okay. Haru now moving on to his 4th base. Haru feels really confident here. Heartseed is steadily... The gap is closing, but it's not closing quickly enough. And how does Heartseed really get ahead here? He has to take some major risks. And once he gets to the late game, both players are basically just going to be massing Falcon. Okay, if Heartseed can shut off the map with barbed wire, then start building balloons behind it, he could be in with a shot. I think there's some potential here. But the barbed wire is also kind of messing him up, and it stops his units from running around. Okay, here we go. Here's the fight. Harry was well ahead on army. And now it's just these Falcons. And there's still so many squirrels. There's still so much shooting up for Haru. But the attack does bleed out eventually, but he's got quite a lot of damage done. And this might be GG. Heartseed's just lost so many Warrens, he doesn't have enough to defend anymore. He can't muster enough to kill these Falcons. These Falcons are 1 health. And now Heartseed started losing farms. I think, unfortunately, after a promising start, this matchup is about to result as expected. And unfortunately, Blue, the Royal Knights, are going to take another victory. Oh, we all kind of wanted Heartseed to win. No offense, Haru. I know I've noticed you in the chat a few times, but Heartseed was the underdog here. And after that first game, I don't know. It looked like he was in with a shot, win with a chance. And you know he was. There was a moment here where, like, Heartseed was winning for the first half of that game. The forward expand worked pretty well. He just needed to get those defences up. But he couldn't, unfortunately. And Heartseed didn't really have anything in his deck capable of holding a position. He needed some skunks or some cams. If he wasn't going to get the defences up, then none of his units could hold. They were all very fragile. Ferrets, falcons, squirrels, lizards, like nothing that can just stand its ground, plant its feet, and take the hit. Alright, but here we go. Last game of the night. At least the last game of this episode of the 21 Generals. QQ versus Kolaru. Kolaru working for the Royal Knights. Stands to gain 4 victory points here. Which I think would actually give the Royal Knights, since Haru just won, that would give the Royal Knights another territory. And they would go up to 7 ahead. So, QQ needs to win this if there's going to be any chance. Like, this isn't just the Penal Squad rooting for QQ here. This is the Penal Squad and the Legion and the Mercs and everyone who just doesn't want James to win rooting for QQ here. This is the anime moment where he feels everyone's heart beating as one. Like, everyone raises their hands and lends him his energy. Hopes that he can defeat the villain, who is surprisingly Kolaru of all people. Kolaru has ended up being possibly the final boss of the 21 Generals. It's not a role he usually finds himself in. Kolaru is usually sort of the wild card. Now QQ did stem the bleeding last week. I forget who he was playing. Let me just check that. It was week 3. No, that wasn't him. Who did? Someone won. Did someone win a game against Blue last week? Maybe I'm imagining things. Or maybe it was week 2. I think it might have been week 2. Or I'm just remembering a dream I had. Anyway, let's talk about the game. Because QQ has a very unusual style. It's very unique, where he uses a lot of ferrets. He's probably the biggest fan of ferrets in the entire game. They are his signature units. And Kolaru also has a unique style, where he just makes stuff up as he goes along. And what he's chosen to make up this time is more ferrets. So we've got Kolaru trying to out-ferret the Ferret King. He has to sell his ferrets because he tried to go for them first, whereas QQ went for double lizard. And now QQ's going to pick up at least one farm here. Also, what the fuck is this? Why, you went for a tier 2 and a forward ninja expansion. This is the sort of shit you'd only see from Kolaru. So at the moment, QQ's just massing lizards, which is another one of his strategies. I haven't gone through the loadouts yet. It's squirrel, lizard, ferret, fox, barbed wire, balloon, against squirrel, pigeon, ferret, falcon, owl, balloon. We've seen quite a lot of balloons this game. Fucking Kolaru, you sell your ferrets again. Why do you wait until the ferret is half built before you sell it? Like, stand by your decisions, man. Okay, so somehow this base has not been scouted. I think Kolaru can hold against these lizards with defender's advantage pretty well. He's going to go for an owl. He's going for an owl. The owl rush. This barbed wire is going to be... It's going to melt in front of mice. And it's also good for Kolaru because it's money that QQ isn't putting into economy or army, which is what he really wants QQ to be doing. He wants QQ to be playing defensive at the moment. And it's weird that QQ is playing so defensive when he's got 18 lizards. That's an attacking army if you've ever seen one. Yeah, ferrets would do nothing. So why build them in the first place? Like, if you're going to start building them, build them. Why start? Whatever. This balloon still doesn't give QQ enough vision. This base is still going. Oh dear. Lizards coming in around the back. They are getting picked off, but Kolaru's... Oh, Kolaru, is he going to defend his owls? Oh, just look at the health on that owl warren. Kolaru just managed to defend it, and that's an owl that was already paid for and is half built. So that actually kind of goes well for Kolaru. The farms he lost were farms that didn't have much on them, and he is rebuilding them. QQ is trying to build his own tier 3. The tier 3 he's building, Kolaru I doubt has scouted it, but it's a tier 3 that is very easily countered by an owl. And QQ, knowing that, sells it and decides to go for some squizzards. The thing that QQ's got going for him at the moment against these owls is going to be the defences. Or it's going to be picking off the owl with his lizards because Kolaru moved out without any support from the rest of his army. Oh, Kolaru. Who are the best worst player? Oh no. No, Master Stealth is the best worst player. You're the worst best player. That's more accurate. QQ still hasn't scouted this base. He can see the corner of a farm. But, you know, he's still not gone over there. So, Kolaru is actually ahead in economy. Now, he's got one more owl out, but how is he going to hold here? He's trying to hold so far forward. One balloon isn't going to do anything against a Squizzard comp like this. And Squirrels with Defender's Advantage can do a lot, but they can't do that much. Not when they're outnumbered 2-1. This balloon is getting a lot more value than I thought it would. Now the owl's here. 2 owls are here. He needs to keep these owls alive. They're getting chased down again. But the double spawning mice is going to be enough to clear up. And Kolaru is still ahead in economy. QQ is going to be baffled looking back on this. But Kolaru needs to be careful. He's got his 8 health owl at the front, which is not the ideal place for it, for that very reason. I think he needs to just be patient here. He probably doesn't... Thing is, Kolaru hasn't really had a chance to scout. Because of these 3 balloons and all this barbed wire, Kolaru can't scout what QQ's up to. So Kolaru might think that he's way behind. And, you know, that's not without reasons, given that he's lost, like, 3 fights in a row. Oh, finally. QQ can see the farm. Is he going to notice, though? He's got it. Yeah, he notices. And Kolaru, what are you doing? You really needed to be more on the ball there, mate. You needed to be ready to defend that. Although, I suppose, he couldn't see that QQ could see it. But now, Kolaru is well behind in economy. Although, he should still be good with the 3 units. But he can't afford to bleed them out like this. Kolaru needs to keep his owl back. He can't afford to just sacrifice them into barbed wire. So Kolaru is really building his economy. Kolaru is trying to get ferrets out, which is a odd choice. Okay, this base was basically done. Alright, there was no way it was gonna hold at this point. Kolaru's gonna catch out the lizards as best he can. Or maybe he's not. The lizards look like they're gonna get away with it. Mostly. Or not. QQ turns around to fight them. When he's got the squirrels with him. Now, as every time Kolaru loses a flock, not a flock, a bevy. What's the collective noun for squirrels? For mice? A herd. I don't know, and I can't look it up because shit keeps happening. A batch. Let's go with batch. Every time he loses a batch of mice, QQ's got a moment to come in and get some damage done. He wants to be pulling the mice away and fighting them separately from the rest of Kolaru's army. It's curious why Kolaru... Oh, he's going to lose here if his commander dies. It's curious why QQ would go for... Why Kolaru would go for ferrets here, given that QQ has a very good army against ferrets, but I think the logic is that he wants something that can poke over this barbed wire. And now, with this high ground vision granted by the owl, the ferrets are getting some real damage done. They could even get this mill. But this is resulting in more of a base trade than Kolaru is probably happy with. I keep getting their names mixed up and I don't know why. That's a lot of farms going down for Kolaru. He's on 2 farms, but if there's any unit you want when you're behind on economy, it's the owl. The owl gives you so much free value. A scurry. Oh, that's squirrels. What's mice? Okay. Now, steadily and steadily, even though he's been losing so many fights, the value given to Coloru by these mice is eventually just tipping the game in his favour. Even with the better economy from QQ, which won't last forever if Coloru keeps getting this poking done. QQ is bleeding out more and more units and is finding it harder and harder to reinforce. He has to finally start selling his defences. Selling a balloon. His eco goes down and now Coloru is back in the lead economically. And the army is finally tipped in Coloru's favour. I mean, QQ seems to be winning this fight, but as more and more mice come out, like, it's not going to last. He gets so much damage done. But not enough. Like, as long as this owl stays alive, Coloru has an army. Especially with this low eco. Is it a nest? Yes, that's fair. Okay, QQ's in starvation now. I think he's trying to take this mill for himself. I don't even know if one lizard can finish that base off in time. Okay, Coloru tanking with his owl, possibly intentionally. It works out this time. But I was a little bit nervous given what we've seen with his owl micro the last few games. And Coloru takes game 1. The Royal Knights. Is anything going to stop them? Coloru. If Coloru wins this game, then the Royal Knights have won, basically. Coloru just needs to win one more match for his faction to get a complete victory. Oh, well, not complete, because there will be an after tournament as they fight for the crown. But they will have dominated the map. Alright, game 2. Both players changing up their decks quite dramatically. Squirrel, Pigeon, Ferret, Falcon, Skunk, Cam against Squirrel, Pigeon, Skunk, Badger, Mine, Balloon. QQ, I've seen QQ run this triple tier 2 deck a few times. I think it's quite a good deck. I think the tier 2s synergize very well together. So if you can get all 4 of them out, they cover each other's weaknesses so well. Whereas Coloru's deck is sort of a bit more standard. Badger is sort of... I want to say it's always a solid choice for tier 3, but it's not. It's actually pretty weak. And it has been for a while. But, you know, you've got your high DPS with your Badger, you've got the early game with your Squirrels, you've got the Pigeons to keep the Badger healthy, and then you've got the Skunks to deal with any mass tier 1. More interesting is Coloru going 3 tier 1 warrants on 5 farms and trying to play really aggressive. Now QQ scouts it out, has his own warrants building. This is possibly a 200 IQ play by Coloru here to get his Squirrels attacking from both sides. So he is going to pick up a farm. Well done. Possibly intentional, probably not. But, you know, he did get some value out of it. I'm a bit confused as to why he went for pigeons. I'm more confused as to why he's selling army and building warrens in front of where QQ's attacking. But I guess the answer is he didn't know QQ was attacking. But he really should have. You've got to be prepared for counterattacks. When you try and rush someone and it doesn't immediately destroy them, you don't get critical damage done, you've got to expect them to counterattack. And this is a really hard place for Kolaru to defend. He's got to run his units around this cliff. And he's losing so many warrens, he's losing so many units. Kolaru's dead. What a strange series of plays. Alright, so the Knights haven't won yet. It's QQ, standing alone, with the weight of Vishal on his shoulders. Can he hold the line? Let's find out. Game 3. Alright, so QQ running the same quadruple tier 2 deck. Kolaru, Squirrel, Pigeon, Falcon, Boar, Fox, Machine Gun. The double tier 3. It's, I mean, I can see it working, to be honest. The Fox is especially good against QQ's deck. Whenever I run the quadruple tier 2 deck, I struggle against Fox, which can pick off tier 2s in 2 shots, can outrange all of them, and that's when I'm running. And the way I run my quadruple tier 2 deck is I run snakes instead of ferrets, which are much better against Fox. They're basically your anti-Fox tech. QQ doesn't have snakes, so his only hope is to get a chameleon trap or to mass tier 1. And if he masses tier 1, Kolaru not only can mass his own tier 1, but he's got the boar. So this is going to be tough for QQ. I wish I could play DBZ Epic Build-Up music, but then this whole thing would get copyright struck, it'd be muted, and I would not be able to put the video on YouTube. Also, it's my experience that whenever you play epic music for a game, the game turns out to be shit. So we should probably just put on like a 5-year-old singing Happy Birthday or something like completely worthless. And then we'll have the best game ever. Ooh. And here we go with the early Fox. 8 farm, double tier 1, expand, Fox. It might get out. QQ is going to be delayed on his attack due to getting tier 2s out, but I mean the tier 2s he's got are pretty solid. Kolaru is going to have to rely heavily on his machine guns because Skunk Chameleon can chew through squirrels without any difficulty. He's only got 2 of them up so far, which isn't nothing. He's getting a 3rd. This base, Kolaru does not give a shit about this base. Like, he actually wants QQ to be attacking it because that's 10-20 seconds that he's got to hold and that he doesn't have to worry about. Oh my god, Kolaru sells a Squirrel Warren in order to get his Fox building. That is a ballsy move. He's got to hold 50 seconds. Can he do it? Oh, and that's 60 food going down right in front of the Fox Warren. Kolaru is going all in on this Fox, and it looks like he's going to get away with it. QQ doesn't fancy his chances attacking into this, and has decided to go back and expand. Or maybe not, maybe he is going to attack. This is looking worse and worse for QQ though. Like, he's not going to have much out when this Fox does get here. And it's looking like the Fox is going to get here. It's only got 15 or so seconds left. The Fox is out now. Now. The Fox is out. And now all of these units are just going to get picked off on the retreat. Well, I mean, not the chameleons because they're invisible, but still, QQ's not really got a good answer here. The farm, that's not going to do it. He's trying to get into a chameleon trap, but it's not going to work. Okay, 4 cams, 6 cams. QQ has 6 chameleons. Are we going for a base trade here? We're going for a base trade. But QQ isn't focusing the base. He's not focusing the mill. Now, this could work in QQ's favour. The Fox can't hit structures, but he needs to get a base up. He doesn't know about this base that Kolaru put down, and now it's maybe too late. Unless he can hold with this, unless he can get rid of these squirrels. You just need, no, he's rallying all. Leave your skunks, unrally your skunks. You just need to kill these, you just need to kill those squirrels, because the Fox can't do anything to the territory. But now he's on the base. Oh my god, this is coming down to the wire. The Fox can't kill them in time. QQ takes it. Somehow, QQ takes it. The base race works in QQ's favour with the 6 cams and the penal squad holds. Green doesn't get any territory for that. In fact, they only get 1 victory point. They had to fight tooth and nail for it. But they got it. Oh wait, that's the wrong week. They get 2 victory points. Much better. So they might be able to take a territory if Gent wins the free-for-all, then they could take a territory, but that would still leave blue at 5 ahead. Because no, it would put them at 4 ahead. So that would hold. The penal squad is now basically the only chance, I think, for keeping this tournament going. Because I don't think red can actually do enough to reduce the territory gap. They won't flip a tile from blue this week. Do you need to get 1 over the limit then? Okay, so what if Mishi beats E3? If Mishi beats E3 and Gent wins the free-for-all, do they take a territory? Six VP. So yeah, that's Gent and Mishi. Gent and Mishi can take... So they can take 1, because between Mishi and you, that's 7. The 4 is 2 from... Oh, right, so that's only 5. Darn. So they need to go for red. We didn't have any green versus reds today, so this is in the middle. They need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to win, to take a territory. But doesn't that just leave them at 5? Doesn't that still mean blue's going to be 5 ahead? Anyway, can they do that? This guy started with getting 4 for free. That'd be another 4. And then you get 2 here. That'd be 6. So they could take a territory off the Legion. No. This is the right week. This is week 4. These are the games we've just been watching. QQ and Colaru, Haru, Heartseed, Kerpa, Blue, Eel, James. Sorry, Smelly. This is the right sheet. These are the right weeks. And if they win the neutral, that's 1. Okay, so that's Onyx, Brandy, and Gustav. They get 1 neutral tile. So they need to win that and flip another territory. That's a big ask. Green basically needs to win all their games. I think Green can afford to drop one of these 2 games, Lego Man and Parzival. Yeah. One from red. No, it's 1 from red and the neutral. That means that they'll be within 4 of blue and the tournament continues. Green needs to win every game. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell since this hasn't updated. But red, like, that's only 5 they need to take off red, don't they? They can afford to lose 1 game, so they can afford to lose against Jacoby. They can't afford to lose against Araloo, because then red will gain too many points that they won't be able to take a territory off them. So the Mishi needs to get on the phone to Jacoby and convince them to make Araloo throw that game, because he's a pretty good player. There needs to be some diplomacy going on here, or Parzival just needs to play out of his fucking mind, because Parzival's good, but Araloo is crazy. So it is possible that blue don't win this week, but they're still in a very dominant position. It's going to take a lot of effort and quite a fair bit of luck for Green to make this comeback. Someone needs to get on the phone to Rubber and make sure that James doesn't get him to gang up on Gent with Epicosity. Someone needs to make sure that, because he's been playing that card a lot. He keeps on going to the free-for-alls and saying, I'll pay you next week to throw the game this week. It doesn't work, because he never fucking pays. But yeah, if Red want to have any say in the future of this tournament, they need to become a vassal state to Green, essentially, at least for 1 week. All right. So that's the tournament. Oh, the free-for-all's already been played. So, Gentleman already knows if it's possible or not. Alright, so that's the tournament. I'm probably going to play a bit of ranked. Since I didn't stream yesterday. I haven't streamed since Tuesday. I haven't done Tooth and Tail since Monday. I'm probably going to do a bit of ranked, but I'm going to put on... So if anyone wants to hop on, feel free. Anyone wants to stick around, feel free. I'm going to stick on song requests and just see if I can get some actual points, because